Hello everyone and welcome to Scotty Hall on YouTube. This video is going to be about my week in wrestling. My week that I've been through and haven't been on here, and actually this is my first video in a while, and I'm going to tell you about what's transpired in the past week as I've viewed the wrestling and viewed YouTube on here and my opinions about it. So we'll get started with the first topic. There's going to be a bunch of topics during this video, so we'll start with the first one. Extreme Rules. Now, I rented this pay-per-view, and I said I wasn't going to rent anymore, but it's just that I had to see with Extreme Rules if it was really going to be a good pay-per-view or not. And that's the first one that I rented in 6 months. So, I mean, I wasn't going to get took for any more money than what I've already got taken for. And I said, well, it's been a while since I've rented one, so I'll rent one. And why not rent Extreme Rules? They had a pretty good match card and everything, and plus I wanted to see what I feel is Triple H's retirement match, but I was proved wrong on Raw, but we'll get to that. But I rented it, and it had a TV 14 rating, and I was really surprised by it. So I said I'll give it a chance. So I rented it, and it was amazing. It was great. I was shocked. I was speechless. I was on the edge of my seat a bunch of times during the pay-per-view. Even my girlfriend stayed awake for the whole thing. That's what is awesome about it, is that I haven't seen wrestling like that in probably, I would go 13 years to the better part of 15 years since the Attitude Era. I mean, I hate mentioning that era, but everybody knows what it was. But honestly, this pay-per-view was loaded with great matches, just from the top to the bottom of the card. I mean, we have someone now that can legitimize the U.S. title and bring it back to the prominence that it was in WCW, which is they need to have these mid-card titles mean something, because the way it used to be is the U.S. title used to be the #1 contender for the World Championship, which is a SmackDown title now, but that's off topic. Dean Ambrose wins the U.S. title. Somebody that can legitimately hold it for maybe 2 years, a run of 2 years or so, and just have a fourth member maybe come in and win an Intercontinental. But the rest of the Shield, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns won the world title from Team Hell No, and they got a rematch, but I don't think they're going to win it. But it's just that it was amazing wrestling and hitting and punching and extreme and chair shots, and Brock Lesnar and Triple H was A plus in a cage. It was just amazing that Triple H, went through all what he went through, and Brock put him through what he went through, and they just put on a great show. And it's the first time that I have seen that type of wrestling in a long time. And I was really, really happy with it, and I was really satisfied. And if you notice, in the middle of the pay-per-view, that was the first time in 4 years that I have seen the warning about don't try this at home. And it just seems like that they're going to put a label on something that is realistically harmful to children and not try it. But that's the first time I'd seen that warning in 4 years on anything as far as WWE is concerned. And it not to say that it was great for that purpose, but for the purpose of us adults that actually watch it and want that kind of action, it was great. It was worth every penny just to see the titles change, just to see something new, and old. It was just amazing. It was great, and I really enjoyed it. And then we go to Raw, and Raw was pretty good. I mean, it's just that they're really putting forth the effort now. And I know that they had to get more extreme. They had to. There's no way that they can not say that they can't get extreme or need to get extreme, because everybody's talking about this war about TNA, and that's another topic on this video. TNA and them want to have a match or an inter whatever company brawl, and they say that it's not going to happen and stuff like that, which I don't believe it's going to happen. They're not going to give that publicity to TNA, but there is a reason that WWE is doing what they're doing. They know that they're losing viewers, and their ratings are up now, and The Rock's not there, and Brock is there, but I mean they're keeping it and maintaining it because TNA is in my opinion, the crowds are getting bigger, and if they get a couple superstars, that they could actually run with the WWE, but it will take somebody legitimately from like a WWE, but who says that anybody would go there? But going back to the Raw point, Raw was a great show, I thought, and we got the debut of Paul Heyman's third client or whatever. I felt like it was going to be RVD, but you can't have everything. So they bring out Michael McGillicuddy, which is Kurt Axel now, and it's Mr. Perfect's kid. So I felt like that it was kind of like, okay, yeah, you set your DVR for this, and in 10 years will we be talking about him? Because he said that they didn't give a response to Brock Lesnar, they didn't give a response to CM Punk, but I think that legitimately, if Paul Heyman is still around in 10 years, that if you take McGillicuddy and if he has a third of the ounce of prestige that Mr. Perfect had, Kurt Hennig, then he will be good. He has to have it. It's in his blood. He has to be good. Because Randy Orton is as good as Bob Orton, I mean, for his generation, but if he has a third of what Mr. Perfect had, he'll be good. But then they go into the match of him and Triple H, and I guess where Triple H got hit with the sledgehammer, that he had a concussion or something, and he just couldn't continue. So it goes off with Michael McGillicuddy not even having, Kurt Hawking, no, I don't know what they call him, but I mean Curtis Axel is what they call him, but pretty much Michael McGillicuddy never got a chance to prove himself, and it went off with Triple H having a concussion, which I think he's done forever for good. He's wanting to go off TV, and he didn't get a win, but maybe we'll see something from him, McGillicuddy, later on in the next couple Raws, but I know I'm going to tune in and watch it because it's been better. The last 3 Raws have been really, really good, and I think it's only going to go up. That's all it can do. It can't go any further down. If it does, then TNA is going to take over. It don't matter if it's a 0.8 rating or a 0.3. As long as they get one more rating than WWE, then they're going to get what they're wanting. They're wanting to have a race to see who is going to be pretty much the wrestling business, which is WWE. They're not going to beat them, but even TNA is changing their time to where they're coming on at 9 o'clock right now, and they're trying to run with them, I guess, or they're either substituting for what they not getting the first hour or whatever. But I think that it wouldn't be very good to go at them right now, but I give it 5 years and they'll be right up there with them. They have to. I mean, there's no way of knowing if you don't go for it. You have to get your old people out of the way and build this new talent, and then you can actually go up against them. But it is right. I mean, who is the John Cena of TNA? Who is the Randy Orton or the CM Punk? Or it's just they got too much talent right now for it to happen. But as the crowds get bigger, as the people start tuning in more, and if they get off that network spike and actually get picked up by a big network, who knows what will happen, and people pumping money in it. But Hogan and Sting need to get off the show and let the young talent we already know that you guys work there. If we want to see you, we'll tune in and see, but let the young guys take care of it. Let them legitimize their self, and just let wrestling grow. It has to grow, because if they're putting on shows like they've been for the past 2 weeks, it just seems like that it has to go up. It has to get better. It has to go somewhere, because Extreme Rules was what fans like us want to see. And if we keep seeing this and we keep putting our view into it, it should be the way it should be. The way it should be is the way it was at Extreme Rules. Because I told my girlfriend while we were watching it, I said, just imagine Extreme Rules. Half of what Extreme Rules was what the last hour of Raw was 12, 13, 15 years ago. When it was Raw is War, we got that every night. When the kids go to bed, let it all hang out. Chairs, blood, everything. That's the way it should be. They should use the first hour of Raw. If they're going to have 3 hours, have the first 2 hours be for them, and then put them to bed, and let us have our matches the way we want them. Let us see the big main events. Let us see the chair shots. Let us see. I mean, people say that it's not right for the wrestlers to get hurt, but the question I got is, why are you in wrestling if you're not wanting to get hurt, if you're not wanting to fight, if you're not wanting to, it's wrestling. You have to put on a show. And if it's actually getting hurt while doing it, at least you put on a performance. I mean, hell, tell Mick Foley that you're not supposed to get hurt. Ric Flair said he's a glorified stuntman, which, I mean, I'm proud of Mick Foley. He didn't have the look as far as muscles and the glamour and all that, but he made a career of putting his body on the line. Like it said in the warning on Extreme Rules, these guys put their bodies on the line with sledgehammer shots and all that. That's what it's got to get back to. It's got to get back to the things that legitimized them, that made them a force to be reckoned with. I mean, at least dedicate 1 hour to it. That's the way it was back then. That's the way it should be now. I don't understand why we can't have that every day. It's just the way it should be. And just I would love to see that every week, and I hope that we do. And I hope that wrestling becomes what it used to be, like it's showing that it could be. I just hope that this isn't the last glimpse of good wrestling that we can have before they transition back to from PG to G and then get kicked off TV. I just don't understand. But I'm liking the direction it's going right now. At least it's better than what it has been. I want to thank y'all for watching. Remember, we all have a video camera, we all have internet, and we all have an opinion.